Pip sat on his bed and looked at his suitcase. Inside was his favorite blue dinosaur, and his softest pajamas with the yellow stars. Even though he had his things, he felt a tiny, cold wobble in his tummy. Tomorrow was his first sleepover at his Grandma Anouk's house, and it felt like a very long time to be away from home. When they arrived at the little cottage with the bright yellow door, Pip gave his dad, Soren, a very long and very tight squeeze. "I'll see you in the morning for pancakes," Soren whispered, kissing the top of Pip's head. Pip watched the car drive away until it was just a tiny speck, feeling the wobble in his tummy grow a little bit larger. Grandma Anouk's house was different from his house. It smelled like cinnamon and old books, and the hallway was lined with tall, clicking clocks and dusty shadows. Anouk smiled and took his hand. "I'm so glad you're here, Pip," she said softly. "I have a secret plan for tonight, but first, we need to fuel up." In the kitchen, Anouk didn't make boring round sandwiches. She used a special cutter to make grilled cheese stars that seemed to glow on the plate. Pip took a tiny bite, then a bigger one. It tasted warm and salty, just the way he liked it. The wobble in his tummy started to feel a little more like a hum. After dinner, the sun went down and the house grew very quiet. Tick-tock, creak-snap, the floorboards made strange noises, and the shadows of the trees outside danced like giants on the curtains. Pip climbed onto the big floral sofa and clutched his dinosaur, wondering if his bed at home missed him. Anouk saw Pip's wide eyes and disappeared into the hallway. She returned, carrying a heavy, carved wooden chest. "This is the treasure trunk," she whispered, sitting on the rug. "My grandfather told me it only opens for brave explorers who are staying away from home for the very first time." Inside were glowing glass marbles, old maps of imaginary islands, and a magnifying glass that turned everything huge. They spent the evening spread out on the rug, drawing their own map of a kingdom where the mountains were made of pillows and the rivers were made of chocolate milk. "Now for the most important part," Anouk announced. They gathered every blanket in the house, the fuzzy green one, the heavy wool one, and the giant patchwork quilt. They draped them over the high-back chairs to build a magnificent secret tunnel right in the middle of the living room. Pip crawled into the fort with his dinosaur and a string of tiny fairy lights that Anouk tucked inside. It was warm, soft, and smelled faintly of lavender. He realized the house didn't feel scary anymore. It felt like an adventure. Before he could count even 5 imaginary sheep, his eyelids felt very, very heavy. The next morning, the sun poured through the windows like melted butter. Pip sat at the counter, swinging his legs and eating a pancake shaped like a dinosaur. When the yellow door opened and Soren arrived, Pip jumped up and gave him a hug. "Dad," Pip shouted, "can I stay at Anouk's house again next weekend?"